Hello and welcome to Forever Football on Forever Sports for today's Premier League Match Day 31 preview. We are reaching the business end of the Premier League. Not too many weekends to go before a Premier League champion will be decided. Just 1 point in the title race. Still a lot that can happen within the relegation race. The big battle for top four and lots of permutations as we enter back into the Premier League after the international break. Big day of football because the World Cup qualifiers and World Cup draw is being done tonight. From a South African perspective, for the South African fans, no South Africa in it, but it should be interesting to see what the World Cup draw will be. That obviously we're going to be covering the World Cup in quite a lot of detail towards the end of the year as we go off to Qatar. We won't physically going off, unfortunately, don't quite have the budget for that, but be taking you through what's going to happen in Qatar. Before we look at the league, the positions, as well as the relegation battle and the fixtures to come, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. This is how the league table currently looks. Manchester City sitting on 70 points, just 1 point ahead of their rivals Liverpool, who have gone on a pretty impressive winning streak and have managed to close that points gap down quite a lot, with Manchester City slipping up with a loss and a draw within their last 5 games, really not sort of going down to plan. Elsewhere, Chelsea are in a very good run. They're sitting on 59 points. Top 4 is looking very comfortable for them because you look at Tottenham and Manchester United. If Chelsea were to win their game in hand, then they're going to go about 11, 12 points ahead of those two. So very much sort of top 4 in the bag for Chelsea. And unfortunately for them, not really much of a title race there. So top 4 battle is quite interesting. You've got Arsenal, who've got a game in hand on both Manchester United and Tottenham. If they were to win their game, they can go up to 57 points, which would be 7 ahead of United and 6 ahead of Spurs. So at the moment, top 4 is Arsenal to lose. If you look at further down, the relegation battle, Norwich very much looking like they're going to go down on 17 points, Burnley at 21, Watford at 22. Newcastle very much out of the relegation battle these days, sitting 9 points ahead of Watford with the same amount of games. So, Eddie Howe's done a lot of good there. Look at the results. They're on the back of 2 losses. Before that, they hadn't lost a game since December. Elsewhere, in terms of the look at the form, Brighton have been pretty woeful recently. And Everton are at risk of going down. However, if they just manage to get string a couple of good results together in the next couple of weeks, they should avoid the drop. In terms of the weekend, this is what we have to look forward to. It all starts tomorrow as Liverpool take on Watford at 1:30 South African Standard Time. You look at the odds there. Watford sitting at 15-1 to win. If you're looking at the form recently, it's very much looking like Watford have managed to get a victory in the last game, but in general just haven't looked particularly good for quite a while now, unfortunately, for the Hornets. It does look like they will go down, sitting currently there at 18th. And head-to-head wise, it's all sort of in favour of Liverpool. Elsewhere, if you're going to look at Brighton versus Norwich taking on at 4 o'clock, as well as Burnley taking on Manchester City, Chelsea versus Brentford, Leeds versus Southampton, and Wolves versus Aston Villa. So a lot of 4 o'clock kickoffs tomorrow. Brighton versus Norwich is a good opportunity for Brighton to try and get back to winning ways. We looked at their form recently and they have been in pretty terrible form. However, Norwich have been in even worse form. So it is the two probably most out-of-form sides in the Premier League at the moment, and you do expect Brighton to have no issues there. Burnley versus Manchester City. Burnley can sometimes become a bit of a banana peel team because of their way that they are so defensively orientated. However, they're playing against Man City, playing for the title. It is a turf moor, so it will be a bit of a difficult one to crack for Manchester City, but they just have so much attacking talent that you kind of expect them to be able to get the job done reasonably easy. And then you've got Chelsea versus Brentford. Brentford have been a bit of a surprise package so far this tournament, or this league rather, but Chelsea in incredible form, as you can see by the odds there. Brentford at 10-1 to win tomorrow. Currently sitting at 15th. They were looking like they could be potentially pushing for top 10, but they sort of fell off the bandwagon a little bit in the last sort of few months, whereas Chelsea have been in pretty impressive form. Leeds United are very much fighting for their position in the Premier League at the moment, sitting at 16th there, and they played the most games, So Watford win that game, they can go up to 25 points, just 4 points behind. Burnley were to win their 3 games, they could actually go ahead of Leeds. So Leeds very much at risk of going down. So a vital game for them up against Southampton, who are currently sitting in 11th place. Then we've got Wolves taking on Aston Villa. 2 teams which aren't worrying too much about relegation or anything like that. Very much in the top half of the table. Wolves actually pushing to potentially, maybe sneak their way into Europe. They could go on a really good run. It's taken a while for Bruno Lage and his team to sort of kick on, but once they did, they've been looking very impressive in the last sort of stages of the tournament, or the league rather. and Aston Villa as well. Are looking like a little bit like the villains of old. Where I think they are going to start becoming more of a regular top 10 side and try and sort of start fighting for high honours there. Manchester United versus Leicester City, probably arguably one of the games of the weekend. The Tigers have had quite the Foxes have had quite disappointing league so far. Manchester United also been pretty disappointing recently. So it's 6th versus 10th. Form-wise, Manchester United not been very inconsistent recently. Exeter the Champions League haven't looked pretty good. Brendan Rodgers, in fact, under a little bit of pressure at Leicester for his league form. We then got West Ham taking on Everton, which traditionally would have been quite a close game, but these days it kind of shows you how much West Ham have grown, because they're currently sitting in 7th place whilst Everton sit in 17th. And it just shows that West Ham are currently, in Europe, fighting for a Europa League potentially and pushing to try and stay in Europe, whilst Everton are in a relegation battle. Spurs taking on Newcastle, which should be quite an entertaining game in terms of It's two teams who have taken a while but are starting to play well again. I think Spurs have been a bit up and down with Antonio Conte. Newcastle obviously had a terrible start to the season, but Eddie Howe has gotten them playing quite nicely. Odds wise, obviously does favour Spurs, and Spurs need to win this game. A win over here. They are playing literally a couple of hours, the day before Arsenal. So a win just puts Arsenal under pressure, because if Spurs were to win, they go equal with Arsenal. Yes, Arsenal got a game in hand, but if they lose that, then they're thinking, well, we have to win that game in hand to go ahead of Spurs. And pressure does some strange things, because Crystal Palace will be ending the weekend up in their host Arsenal. The return of Patrick Vieira up against his former side. And I think Crystal Palace are a side that as well. They've had some very good games where they look like they can beat anybody. So should be interesting to sort of see how those sort of teams line up, and how Arsenal, who they've been in terrific form. In fact, Mikel Arteta has actually just been named the Premier League Manager of the Month. And if you're looking at the side, it's a side which are looking a lot better for Arsenal. I think Martin Odegaard's really starting to settle into life at Arsenal. Bukayo Saka's had a fantastic season. Gabriel Martinelli is getting an extended run. The defense is looking more consistent for Arsenal. So they have looked a lot better. But Crystal Palace are a side that play some very nice footy. Let me know which match you're going to be watching for, who you're supporting, where's your team, let me know how they're doing. As I said, this is what the Premier League table is currently looking like, so a lot to play for this weekend and a lot of movement that can happen. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.